Good morning. I am so excited. I'm Ladianne at Cheers to You, and I am here this morning with somebody that I just absolutely love the company of, and his name is Tobias, and he is with Malabrigo. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm so happy to talk with you. So, Tobias and I were chatting before the show, and I was telling him that I'm a huge fan of Malabrigo's products, and I'm a huge fan of their company. So, why don't you tell everybody, first off, how the company got going, just in a nutshell? I know a little bit about it, but tell them how it got started.
Our company?
Yes.
Yes. Well, we started, I know it's more than 16 years ago because I had a son the year after that,
Oh, wow.
after we started.
You
So
were
probably
busy.
17 years. Yes. So we started basically, Antonio, one of our partners, started dying at home. Um, and then we started seeing that. Uh, Customers were really into what we were doing. So I basically traveled to the US um, to sell. We got like a color card samples, and we started wholesaling in the US in August 2005, 2006.
Oh, okay.
And it was very funny because we didn't know anything about the industry, and I didn't know there was a show called TNNA. So I went
Oh my
to
gosh.
I went to visit several stores and I called them. There was internet, but there were no Facebook or
Right,
Instagram or nothing like that.
right.
So calling and using MapQuest, and many stores told me, "Well, I would love to see you, but I just came back from TNNA," and that's when we realized we had to be at TNNA.
Got it.
And
Okay.
so our first, I would say our official start was TNA Long Beach 2005.
Okay.
That could be the January 2005 probably.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, Antonio started dying from home, and my sister, Antonio is my brother-in-law, so my sister was complaining about all the mess the dying was. So we moved to a small house and started working from there.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, that makes perfect sense. So, what made you decide that you wanted to dye yarn at all? Were you a knitter or crocheter, or how did you end up even deciding
No,
to do
it was
that?
Antonio's idea about we wanted to do something different from Uruguay. We know wool was really good in Uruguay, one of the first and most interested, I don't know, one of the first things that happened was that while we were doing these things, all the people that work in the yarn industry in Uruguay, which is more directed into the very fine wool for suits, things like that,
Right.
were telling us, no, no, this is not the way to do things. You have to do things the other way, that the way people were doing it, more like industrially dyeing. They say, oh, this yarn is all, uneven, the colors, you have shadings and things like that. So they
Yep.
didn't know about hand dyed. So yeah, we,
That's
we
so
had to.
funny. So I pulled out just so if anybody's watching this who doesn't know what hand dyed yarn is or hand dyed fiber, I did pull out a couple of things that I have here in my studio. I'm actually at my home studio right now, and they are your noob.
Yes.
So for one, which I love, this one is really pretty blues and greens. And then I also pulled out, I think this is Rios. I'm going to have to look. Let me see. No, this is Arroyo. So we carry your Arroyo, Rios, Sock, Noob, and a couple of other lines. Um, but you can put the fiber and the yarn together, and just so everybody can see what he's talking about with variegation. Now this is hand spun,
Yes.
but your yarn has this beautiful, it looks like pieces of artwork.
Thank you. I will tell Antonio because, to tell you the truth, he's the one that worked with the colors and design and
Tell
things
them
like
it's
that.
beautiful. We love it.
Yeah,
And our
yeah.
customers love it too. So tell everybody, I think I read on your site that, and maybe I'm totally wrong, but I thought I read that you have sheep. Does Malabrigo have its own
We
sheep?
have just a small flock. We
Okay.
source our sheep in Uruguay, our wool in Uruguay,
Okay.
but we really at this time buy a lot of wool, and we have a small flock,
Ah,
just mostly for fun,
yeah.
to being in touch with the sheep, to make this more personal in a way.
Yeah.
Um, but no, we don't produce our own wool.
Okay.
Well, we don't have our own sheep. The produce is not the word. Sorry, I don't know the word in English, but we
I
buy the
think
wool
produce
in
works.
bulk. We buy the wool in bulk.
Okay. And what kind of sheep do you have?
We have merino. We have a very nice
Oh,
merino
nice.
sheep, uh, 300. I don't know. You heads we say in Spanish. I don't know
Yeah,
how you
yeah,
say
yeah. I think,
heads.
yeah, probably the same thing. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. And you haven't considered using the wool from your sheep, or have you thought about it?
Well, the problem is not a problem. The issue is that raising sheep and breeding and shearing and doing all that,
Yeah,
it's a complete different industry than dyeing wool.
right.
So we know we are good at dyeing, but we don't really know how to do that. We are not
I get it.
gauchos. I don't know how you say it in English. The gauchos, it's like the cowboy in.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So we are born and raised in cities, and it takes I
We
don't know how to say it,
we no, I
amatero.
totally understand. It is a completely different set of skills. It's a different
Yeah,
business
it's a
altogether.
different. Yes.
Yeah. So that's interesting. And then I also read, I think that your company is very environmentally conscious. So you try to do things as kindly to the land as you
Yes.
can.
Well, yes. This is right now we have two locations, one in Uruguay, one in Lima, Peru, and in the location in Uruguay is actually winding down because we're moving all our. But before that, we have like solar power and many things. We're trying to replicate in Lima. It's
Okay.
not as easy as to doing as in Peru because, for example, we had solar power,
Okay.
which was very good because we used a lot of heat
Yep.
for warming the. But in Lima, it's always cloudy. So
Oh,
there's no
okay.
way to have solar power. It's
Interesting.
kind of
Okay.
crazy, but the environment has its thing. Or it's very, I don't know. It's not as easy as in Uruguay.
Yep.
But
I
but yes,
understand.
we try to keep things. We are not an organic yarn company, but we try to keep things as friendly to the
Sure.
environment as possible.
Yeah, and that
You know.
makes perfect sense. I mean, I think one thing that a lot of consumers don't necessarily understand is, especially with hand dyed yarn, there's so much that goes into it in terms of the way it's done, the materials that are used, that going completely organic with a hand dyed yarn company would be a challenge. I think it
Well,
would
we did
be,
try.
yeah,
We did try to get. We tried. No, we got an organic line of uh, colors.
yeah,
We got an organic cotton with organic dyes, and then we tried to do natural dyes in wool. We are continuously experimenting with those, and the real issue is that would get you a very muted palette.
yeah, yeah,
So you cannot really get our colors in natural dyes. We
right.
tried dyeing with eucalyptus and remolacha, ah, beets,
Oh,
beets,
wow. Okay.
and other things, and we got some nice colors. It just they were mute, and you had to put a lot of uh, thing into the pot,
Yeah.
you know. So it's very nice, but not really intense, and what people know Malabrigo for.
And it gets very, very, in my understanding, very expensive to do things like that, or it can get very expensive, which
Yeah,
means,
well,
you
the
know,
alternative to this was to buy organic dyes, or natural dyes,
okay,
which are two different things. Sorry, I have a fly here. Um, um, but both are very expensive.
yeah,
Not all natural dyes are necessarily organic, and not all organic dyes, I don't know, maybe yes, are
yeah.
natural dyes.
There are lots of, there's a lot
Nuances,
of
maybe.
complexity. Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
yeah, that's really
So we
interesting.
did try to buy those dyes, but they didn't work out. We didn't get the colors. We yeah.
It didn't, yeah,
So
it just didn't quite get there. Well, and that's one thing that, with our customers, your colorways are so rich and they're so beautifully variegated, and people have come to know the colorways, and that's they come in and they want the ones that they
yeah, they
want.
want the color, and that color, um, for now, can only be done with industrial dyes.
Yeah, and the other thing that I notice, I'm sitting here just, I walk around holding yarn all the time, like a lot of
Yeah.
people do. Um, but one thing that a lot of people notice about your yarns and your fibers is just how soft they are.
Yes,
And
we try to do it, yes.
yeah, so I guess when you sourced your bases and the fiber, you went for the finest. It seems
We
like they're
try to
very
source
long
the
too.
finest merino available.
Yeah,
Um, it's a trick. It's a trick. It's a trade-off between because not the finer the merino, the less availability you have in the market.
yeah,
So we try to. You always use the finest merino we can get in quantities enough to sell yarn. You know what I mean?
right.
We did, for example, once had a limited edition of the finest ever merino in Uruguay, which was 15 point something microns, which is very, very fine.
Wow.
And we had a few hundred bags and we sold them, but it's, we couldn't get that fine, but we try to get always the finest merino.
I think, and I swear, I think I read somewhere. Gosh, I don't remember where I saw it. That you're in the, I don't know, the typical micron count for your wool is 20 or less, smaller.
20 or less.
Yeah,
Yes, that's for sure.
yeah. It's
Yes.
it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and it is. The fiber is really enjoyable to spin with. So tell me about your focus when it comes to patterns and creating those kinds of things, and what you've seen in the market since you've been in business in terms of preferences for
Yes.
patterns.
Yeah, well, we were very lucky from the beginning because um, designers seem to love our yarns a lot.
Yeah,
So we always have this pattern support made by others.
yeah,
And then, of course, Ravelry came and designing exploded. And there are a lot of patterns made with our yarns on Ravelry, and that provides a great pattern support for us. We always try to support designers, and we always tell them that if they want yarn, they know they can come to us. If they're going to publish a pattern, um, and we support a lot of designers with that. We also have our own books and patterns
yep,
released. We try to release at least two books a year. Well, the pandemic changed a little
right,
bit things,
right.
but two books a year. Our latest book is out. It's book 20, and we try to basically have two books a year. Our would say our schedule is two books a year and work a lot with designers, which we do every time we have a new yarn. We send the designers uh, a, a skein, and we try to always support them when they ask for yarn to publish a pattern, to print a book, and magazines. There's a lot of patterns out there made with Malabrigo.
We actually, you just reminded me one of your books, and I don't remember exactly which issue it was. Sandi Rosner, who does a
Yes,
lot. Sandy does a lot with our shop, and one of her designs was in one of your books that we've sold out of it now, but it was shawl designs and really nice.
yes. Let me see. I don't know. I don't remember the number. We had a shawl
Gosh, I'll have
on.
to look it up. It's Sandi.
It's number 13, Shawl Road. It's
That's
called
right.
the book.
That's right. And we
Yeah.
that book sold out, and Sandy's wonderful. So that pattern
Yes.
is beautiful, and yeah. So we love your books, and it's great for people to come in, and a lot of the time they want to buy a pattern on Ravelry, but sometimes too they come into a shop like
Yes.
ours and they want a
Well,
book. You know?
starting this year, we usually want, time change things. So when we started, people told us, first release the books in printing, and then release the PDFs some time later, maybe a year later.
Right.
And now we are releasing at the same time PDF release and printing books because um, people want what they want, and we want to make their life easier,
Yeah.
and if they want to buy a single pattern from a book, they we are okay with them. We're happy with them buying that on Ravelry or any other, online pattern seller. And if they want to buy the book and keep it at home, which is what I actually like to do with books,
Yeah.
and it's
Me
probably a
too.
generational things. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of love books myself, so I totally
Yeah.
understand.
Let me tell you though, I read a lot, and I did uh, donated a lot of printed books because I realized that I had way too many books in my house. I have a Kindle and I have an iPad, and now I read most of the times there. So I kept the books I love. I have more like a connection with them.
Yeah.
And then all the novels, and I love historical novels, things like that,
Yep.
and all those were to a hospital where they have this library.
I think we might be related because
Yeah.
I understand all of what you said, and a lot of our customers who are book lovers are totally going to identify with what you just
No,
said. That makes perfect
no.
sense. Well, tell me how you guys did through COVID. What did what happened with the company? I know some mills closed for a little while, and
Yes,
and
yes.
we're not out of it yet, but yeah,
No, we hopefully, well, here,
yeah,
Antonio and I, we both had, and most of our families had COVID already.
yeah,
So, and we have way many vaccines because in Uruguay we got two vaccines and then a booster shot and then another booster shot. So we're really vaccinated
yeah.
and COVID. So um, what we well, we have, as you know, we are in two different countries, in Uruguay and Peru,
Mhm.
and the situation was different in each country. Uruguay was amazingly, we had an incredibly good situation with COVID until March this year. In
Oh,
general, we really didn't have a wave until when the US was on probably its third wave, we started our first one.
oh,
The
wow.
first
Okay,
COVID, there were a lot of measures of distancing, and we closed the borders, and whatever the country did.
right.
And we were very lucky, and we're a small country, so we were basically, uh, I won't say COVID free because nobody was COVID free, but for the first year, we really didn't have a lot of COVID in Uruguay. Although we had to work from home, then we came back, and then we started to work from home again. Like the same things that everywhere.
Yeah.
Peru, though, was very different. Peru, and we had to close the mill for 2 months, and people went home, and then we slowly started working again. But they had several waves,
Oh,
so
okay.
we were closing and opening the the mill. Luckily, we didn't really have any fatality at the mill, although most people got COVID there. Basically, because Peru has a much younger population than Uruguay.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
Uruguay
interesting.
has a very, um, I don't know how to say the word in English. Uruguay, it's more like a European country where we have a lot of people over 50s, 60s.
Interesting.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah. And Peru, it's full of young people. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you from Lima originally?
No, we are from Uruguay, Montevideo.
Oh, okay. All right. But you personally?
I'm personally from Uruguay. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. And so tell me with the consolidation, I think you told me that you were beginning to move everything to Lima,
To
right?
Lima. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
what's the time frame on that? When are you thinking you'll have all of that
No, we
done?
are mostly done with that.
Oh, good.
All I would
Okay.
say most of our production now comes from Lima and very few from Uruguay. All, the wool comes from Uruguay. We buy the wool, ship it to Lima, spin it, dye it, and ship it to the US.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. And I remember at some point, um, gosh, and I want to say it was before COVID, you have distribution centers in the US, I
We
think.
have one in Florida,
In
yes.
Florida,
We
that's right.
have a warehouse
Miami.
in Florida, in Miami, yes.
Okay.
We
Yep.
have a warehouse in Miami. And we had one in Michigan, but we moved to Miami.
Got it. Okay.
Because, Miami, we always joke that it's the capital of South America. And
Yep.
everybody speaks Spanish. I don't know. We have a few employees. I would say all our employees except one are native Spanish speakers or son of, well, probably you call them, even though many are born in the US, they speak Spanish at home.
Yep.
And then we have one person that doesn't speak Spanish, but he understands because he has been so long at home.
Yeah, that makes
So,
sense.
he understands all the bad words in Spanish probably.
That's so
You
funny.
know,
Well, those are important things to learn, right?
yes, yes, not
You may
alone,
need to use them sometime.
You, you cannot be bad mouthed in front of him because he knows everything.
Very smart.
Yeah.
So I guess one other question I have for you is where you are, the popularity of crochet versus knitting, because I know in a lot of South American countries, it seems like um, crochet is more popular.
Crochet is very popular in
Okay,
Uruguay and in other South American countries. Um, Knitting too, but crochet, I don't know why compared to the US, people crochet more here. I don't know why.
interesting.
I
That's
don't
really
have an
interesting.
explanation.
Yeah,
Um,
we keep looking at that because it's just very, I don't know, it's very interesting to me why some things get popular in some places and it's
I
different.
don't know why when I tell some people when I meet somebody and um, I tell them what I do. Oh, wool, yes. Oh, I crochet. And they say, well, in the US, it's the other way around.
Mhm.
Crocheters are always complaining that we don't have enough patterns for them. Uh, you know, but knitting is what most people do actually, and
It's so
crochet is more like
funny
a
to me.
side.
That's
Yes,
so
I'm
funny.
sure.
So have you ever crocheted or knitted?
I knit. I knit.
Ah.
I don't knit very well, just up and down. Um, I don't know the names of the stitches in English, but scarves. And what you won't see here in Uruguay, it's just coming in, or in South America, it's people don't use circular needles,
Oh,
always
interesting.
straight.
Okay.
So basically, I know how to knit with two straight needles, and you know, like.
Wow,
The,
that's interesting. And what do most people make? What's the most popular in South America, the most popular item to make? Is it scarves or hats
accessories,
or
accessories, yes.
yeah.
Scarves, hats, yeah, yeah, but my mother made me already three, four hats, and all are knit with straight needles and have the, I don't know,
Like a seam. They have a
yes,
seam.
same,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, right,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
very cool. Okay. Well,
So,
so tell people what they can expect over the coming year. Is there anything new that's going to come out?
well, we're just getting back to normal because COVID really, well, COVID and the world is crazy right now. So, the chain of production are really everything is stretched, you know.
Yeah.
But we're just trying to get things. We are going to be we have a trade show in Seattle next month,
Okay.
and then for the first time we will have an H&H Millionaire
Yes.
show in
Yep.
Chicago. That's going to be very exciting.
Yeah.
And in there we will introduce. Well, we have several things in the making. We have uh, almost ready what is going to be called Ultimate Sock. It's our first sock and nylon yarn
Oh,
because
okay.
all our yarns are 100% superwash or
Mm-hmm.
non-superwash wool, but all our, we have two sock weight yarns, Mechita and sock,
Right.
that don't have any nylon on it. So people keep telling us, oh, this is very nice for shorts, this and that, but it's not really good for socks.
Yeah.
You have, so we are launching this ultimate sock yarn. It's going to be 75% superwash merino
Mm-hmm.
and 25% nylon.
Nice. Oh, we're looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yes, we have some new colors in Rasta, in Mechita. Um, we will have this ultimate sock will have 30 colors at first, and then we have like 9 new colors in Rasta, probably 10 new colors in Mechita, in Nube, where all the things we couldn't do last year,
Right.
we're going to try to do it this year.
Right. Well, that makes perfect sense. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that new Ultimate Sock, definitely, all
Yeah.
of it, but that in particular, that's great. I'm glad that you're launching
Yes.
that.
And we have another yarn that's not going to be ready for a year. I think maybe a little bit less. It's in between Rasta and Mecha, so it's going to be um, there. It's a super bulky, not as super bulky as the Mecha, as
Yeah.
the Rasta,
Right.
but it's going to be super wash.
Okay. Interesting. That'll be
Or it's
good to
going to
see
be,
too. Yeah. It
yes.
will be non-superwash, you said?
No, it will be super wash.
Oh,
It's
okay.
kind of a Rasta, but super wash.
Oh, okay. That'll be great. Yeah.
Yes.
That'll be wonderful. We'll look
But
forward to
it's
seeing all of that.
first stage of development.
Okay, that's exciting. Ooh, you've got
Yes,
good stuff
very
coming.
interesting.
Thank you for
Yes.
sharing. Well, this
No,
has
no.
been so much fun. I really appreciate your time, and I know everybody who's going to watch this, once we put it up, they're going to really enjoy hearing all of this. It's been fun talking to you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's very fun talking to you too, and it's been a very nice experience to have,
I'm so
a
glad.
real
Well,
live interview.
yeah, well, thank you for doing it. So we'll say goodbye
Thank
to
you.
everybody, and if
Goodbye.
you stick around, I'll be able to talk to you in a second.
Okay,
Bye,
great. Thank you.
guys.
Bye bye.